Hi, my name is Sarah Miller, and I do video analysis videos for customers all around the world who are looking for me to help them with their horses' issues. And I thought I would do one for you guys. In case you guys haven't met me yet, I'm one of the new instructors at Meadow Ridge, and I just thought that I would share this with you because I noticed that other people were sharing training videos of the lesson horses. So this is Rowan, and he's owned by Susan, the lady that was there with me at the beginning, and she wanted to have a watch. I was telling her a little bit about what I do, and this particular method that I'm using is called the decarpentry lunging, and there's 3 different methods, and at current I'm using decarpentry level 2, and this is a different type of lunging. It isn't necessarily to wear them out, but I have to teach each new horse that I work with what I do. I'm expecting them to, when I stop, for them to turn a circle around me. And then I try and do more straight lines than circles. Circles, non-stop circles, are inevitably damaging for horses. In the wild, horses very rarely circle at all. If they have a huge pasture as well, hundreds of acres, they very rarely circle. So we actually have to teach them how to balance properly on the circle. And the way to do that is to combine straight lines and circles in the lunging. The students are having trouble keeping Rowan moving forward at the trot. They carry a crop with them and kind of whack him trying to get him going. And I've been taught that if a horse has more woe than go, then there's something wrong. They don't want to go because there's something going on. They're trying to protect themselves from current injuries or injuring themselves further, or if they have muscle imbalances, if they're stuck in a certain dysfunctional coordination. The decarpentry lunging is definitely a great opportunity for me to see where they need help. So as you can see, Rowan is starting to get used to this different way of lunging. Sometimes the horses, when they're first learning this, might be a little bit nervous or not really understand what I'm trying to teach them. And he's very bright. He's picking it up real quick. And the purpose of this, there's many, many benefits of this type of lunging. It starts the horse's education or re-education that when we're going to the left, like we are, they should be laterally bent to the left. And I'm looking for them to find a nice, slow, balanced trot. And the circles and straight lines really help them explore that. So as you can see, I'm using my whip a little more than I would like to ask him to go. And I'm very forgiving when I'm teaching a horse this new lunging method, because after all, they're getting to know me, getting to know a different method. I'm having to bring up the intensity of the whip action to try and encourage him to maintain the trot on the circle. I think he thinks he's understanding that if I walk forward, he needs to trot with me. When I stop on the circle, he thinks he can stop as well. So I'm just teaching him here, nope, you gotta keep trotting, bud. And he's, slowly starting to get it. He is pretty unbalanced and struggling a bit with his spinal coordination. So, he's just starting this work and I can't pick him apart too much, but I feel like his feet need some attention. The angles of his pasterns are pretty steep, and the quicker we can remedy that, the better for him. And then I have to teach the horses how to stop in the decarpentry lunge as well, and that can be a challenge. So there I'm lifting my hand and saying whoa at the same time. And every horse that I have in lessons or any training, they need to understand the word whoa means to stop, and they have to stop on the track. They can't turn and look at me. He's trying to turn and look at me when I ask him to stop. So there I'm just showing him, nope, you gotta stay on the track. Don't turn and look at me when I ask you to stop. This is really challenging because a lot of people use a join up type of training with round penning or lunging or a face up technique, which is actually quite dangerous, I've been taught. So there again, sometimes I'll use the wall to kind of teach them to not swing their croup to the outside to turn and look at me. So there I'm just showing him, nope, stay there if I say whoa, whoa. So yeah, it's just the little details and differences in my training style I have certain boundaries and expectations, and I do my best to kind of guide them to it. And I think this time around he actually does stop when I ask him to whoa on the track. And there he did it. Good job, Rowan. And then once he's stopped, then I approach him to the saddle, and it's safe for me to approach him, and no, he did really good. He's a smart boy. So here, there's a small close-up. I'm attaching the lunge line to the bit. I put the bit through the right outside bit ring and then through the strap ring up on top of the saddle and clipped it to the outside left bit ring. And that's how you set up carpentry level 2. Carpentry level 2, when the horse puts a little bit of pulling on the bit, it'll actually turn his head towards the inside. That's the action of this particular method. And then I don't ever pull, ever pull on the horses. Never. Even when I'm leading them on the halter. I've been taught never to pull on them, especially when they have a bit in their mouth. And so, yeah, his right hip is quite high. And here I'm trying to encourage him not to fall towards me. Now, him falling towards me on the circle is the first sign that he is stuck in what is called, inverted rotation to the right. So he is stuck in left lateral bend, and he's falling to the right with an inverted rotation. What that means is, as long as he is stuck in that left bend and falling right, he cannot find true right lateral bend. And it makes it very difficult for him to circle. And then his legs have funky kinematics. And here I'm just trying to see if he can sometimes a trot can help them go in a circle. It's easier than walking. Trotting is easier. So I thought I'd try and see if maybe he'd offer a trot. But I think because of his inverted rotation, it makes it very difficult for him. He's struggling quite a bit to move forward. And yeah, the entire time he's still stuck in left lateral bend. He might intermittently find it, like there he actually did explore the right lateral bend a tiny bit. And that's the main benefit of this style of lunging, is it allows the horse to experiment and explore a different pattern of movement. They're going to make a lot of mistakes, but it's good for them to make mistakes and explore and feel free to do that, because sometimes when they make a mistake, it teaches them, okay, that's not the answer, and then it'll get them closer to the answer, and he will find it every once in a while, and it's an instant positive reinforcement, because he's going to feel better in his body when he's going laterally bends to the right and goes to the right with the right rotation. So I realized that I make mistakes too. I was starting to get a little too harsh, and I decided that rather than trying to force him to run forward, he's clearly struggling, and I'm better off helping him address that muscle imbalance that he has and that spinal dysfunction under saddle. So once again, I have to teach him, even though he learned it to the left, and he also needs to learn to stop on the track to the right. And what a smart boy. He actually did it there. So again, I approach the saddle and I give him a pat. There's Hayden. I left this part of the video in because you can see that he is stuck in pelvic extension. His hind legs are stepping too far behind him, because he's heavy on the forehand. So that was a really good illustration of how the hind legs get kind of stuck out from behind them when they're dropped in the trunk. And I have to help him adjust that as quickly as I can. The quicker I can get a horse off of the forehand, then the quicker it is that I can address the rotation issues in the spine. Here, Rowan has he's kind of in extension of his back, where the head is going up, the nose is pointing forward. And the goal is to help him explore the lift of the trunk, the lift of the base of the neck, and the trunk, yeah. So it's the same thing. The trunk is the rib cage, and the spinal column above the rib cage is called the base of the neck, so where the cervical vertebrae meets the thoracic vertebrae, the cervical thoracic junction. There I'm going to try and get him to lift in that area, which is just between my thighs. And already I'm talking a lot to him about keeping himself straight and not getting inverted by resisting with my inner thighs. And he's already thinking up a storm. You can see his little tongue going a mile a minute. And yeah, you can see that he's still laterally bent around my left leg, even though we're going to the right. And now he did this behavior with the student on Sunday, where he would stall out, stop, and then try and twist and turn towards the door and towards his buddies. And he's got this big, powerful shoulder, and he would just get inverted and fall in the direction of his inversion. And I was blocking that, not necessarily pushing on him, but just resisting him from doing that. And he is a little baffled, and I'm encouraging him to move forward. Again, my hands are very soft and light. I have a contact, but it's like the weight of the reins. It's very, very gentle and soft. Here I'm encouraging him without the pull flexion to the right. That helps them explore the rotation there. You can really see how inverted he is, how he's wanting to fall to the left instead of bending right and going right. I noticed a lot of the lesson horses like to lean and fall towards that door. I wanted to stay closer to the camera because I needed a video to do an analysis. But here from behind you can see how that right hip stays high, the right pelvic bone stays high, and he's still inverted, he's still stuck in left bend. And he's falling right by tipping his axial rotation to the right. And all I can do, I can't force him to explore right bend with the axial rotation. There I just wanted to give him a break because he's already done a lot for me. He's doing a lot of thinking. You can really see his little wheels turning in his brain as I'm basically resisting and discouraging certain movement and habits that he's formed to avoid the correct coordination of his back. Even here at the halt, he's in left lateral bend, falling to the right. And I give them quite a bit of a break in between riding them because it's giving him a chance to kind of think and process about what we were working on. And yeah, this is really physically demanding work. He's not going slow because I'm forcing him to go slow. He's actually moving quite slowly because he's kind of playing with his balance. If you pay attention to Rowan's right front limb, so his right front leg, he has it on the ground during the weight bearing phase a little bit longer than the left because his rotation is shifting all of the forces and weight to that limb. So there you can see, and then there he's falling. You can actually see him falling the shoulder to the right. There, he's not quite understanding yet the right lateral bend. And from this angle, you can see that his hind legs are starting to step more evenly. So one isn't stepping short and the other one longer. So he's starting, my calves have an even soft pressure on both sides, and the calves control the hind legs and my inner thighs control the front legs. And so I'm doing a really conscientious job of keeping this steady contact of my calves, a soft hug of both my calves, same pressure on both sides, and I'm trying to kind of keep his croup in line with his shoulders. He, for the first time during this ride, is actually exploring the right lateral bend. He's managed to find the right lateral bend and the correct axial rotation. So there I have to give him a really big reward. Good job, buddy. And it probably felt really good in his body as well. And again, he's processing and thinking about what just happened to him. His little world is rocked. But there, I'm happy to say he did actually explore a right lateral bend. So yay! Lots of work getting there, but he did it. I really love that he's embracing that right lateral bend and is actually halted and standing, bent around my right leg. So yeah. I did get a little bit greedy, and I tried to keep him in that right lateral bend by the door, thinking that maybe it felt really good and we had a moment there and then he'd be able to maintain it. But he's still really obsessed with that door. And honestly, I probably should have ended the session after he finally explored that right lateral bend going right. And this is kind of the tricky part of being self-taught and being your own instructor is I don't have eyes on the ground. And if I was teaching myself, I would have said, let's end the session there. But anyway, I think it's a good thing that I'm going to go ahead and try a little bit of going to the left for analysis sake, just to see how he does. But ideally, you only want to go in one direction when you're doing rehab. And is exploring the lift of his trunk, and I'm really proud of him because now he's actually lifting the trunk on his own. And there he actually gives me the pull flexion, and that's what pull flexion is supposed to look like. I didn't pull on him to achieve that drop of the nose. He did that all himself, and that's how you get the correct pull flexion. So the base of the neck is supported, the neck is up, and then the pull flexion happens. And so here we are trying to the left, and yeah, he does find it a little bit easier going to the left, but it's still a challenge to keep him from wanting to bend left and fall to that outside right front. It's so nice to see him lifted in the trunk, and the weight is off his forelegs, and he's really stepping through in the shoulder. His forelegs are coming up, and it's allowing him to step correctly with a little more step under himself rather than stuck behind him. So yeah, there's that pesky door again, and you can actually see my whole body fall to the left as he really throws that rotation to the left. My body is almost like an extension of the vertebrae, but yeah, there from behind you can see he's in left lateral bend, bent around my left leg, and there he's got Henry. He's got really good lift. There, I'm actually doing a counter bend. Oh, there he wanted to swing his bum towards the door, and I actually stopped him from doing that. And there he's got really good balance. Yeah, there he's actually, oh, well, he did it. I put the idea in my mind, and it came to be that he actually didn't. Nope, he's like, just kidding, I'm gonna fall towards the door. It's really rewarding to see, yeah, he still makes a few little mistakes, and that's totally fine. I don't mind if he makes mistakes. He's still learning. But there he gets the right lateral bend with the right rotation, and his pelvic is no longer stuck up in the air on the right side. Here you can also see what we call the ducktail motion, the dorsal ventral rotation of the pelvic. It almost looks like his pelvis is like a duck motion, kind of, and that means that he has the correct coordination of the spine. And here I got, again, a little teeny bit greedy. I thought, let's see what he does if I ask him to change the bend to the left and go left. And he is a little bit annoyed because he's saying, hey, I'm doing a great job, which he is. And there, I'm like, you know what, bud? I'm so impressed. So he did an amazing job, and I'm really excited for this horse's future and where this work is going to take him. So thank you so much, you guys, for listening to my video. And if you have any questions, fire away. I get a lot of people asking me to explain what I do and how I do it. And I just thought I would take this opportunity with this really great horse to try and educate a bit about what I do. Have a great night.
You too.
Say good night, Henry.
Love you.
Good night.
Have a good Halloween and Christmas.
Okay, bye-bye.